associate head coach title or the deputy head coach title? I mean, I know that was kind of a working idea that you guys had. How has it evolved at all? Do you have like a clearly defined role you feel like now with 3 full seasons under you guys sort of belt?
Yeah, I mean, as far as that role, that could be anything from Coach Norvell sitting down and talking practice schedule or um, you know different things in terms of team motivation or team building. It's more of a support role for him and trying to I think when you're a head coach, you're balancing and managing so many things in your mind that sometimes if you have somebody that'll either there to bounce an idea off of or walk in and he gives me for the most part pretty much free reign to walk in and say, hey, what about this or what about that, and he may take a suggestion or he may not, but I just know that there's a lot that you have to balance in that role, and so if you have somebody that's kind of there to help you balance that out and the things that you're thinking about and the way you're handling the team, then it's always beneficial.
Would you like to have one of those back in the day? And how crazy, I guess, cool is it just to see all the support that
Yeah.
staffs have this day?
No, I actually did. I actually had, you know, actually both my coordinators when I was a head coach were excellent about, and we used to say, keep the main thing the main thing, and I would, hey, help me do that, and so the main thing is the players, the focus on the team, the direction that the team is going, the overall chemistry and just overall health of the team. That's the main thing, and so having people around, it's not just me. Like, we have an excellent staff. Like, we have guys that have all different backgrounds and experiences and are able to contribute to that. Hey, let's keep the main thing the main thing, and that's just the motivational aspect of what we're doing.
In general, what have you seen from your tight end room throughout preseason?
And in general, just the whole group, just highly motivated, really wanting to absorb all the different elements that position brings in terms of, the assignment, what route do I run, what block do I execute, but then the technical aspect of how to do it, just super high concentration level from every guy in the room on wanting to perfect all those things that we're asking them to do. Just in general, an excellent group in that way.
What kind of step forwards did Douglas take from last year to now?
I mean, really huge steps when you consider, his first year coming in and even that first spring being a guy that was borderline offensive line tight end because he had just gotten so big, and he's taken huge steps in his understanding of the offense, but then the technical aspect of what he's doing, he's made a lot of progress in inline blocking, with his size that should be a strength of his, and he's worked hard to perfect that. And he's a guy that really never did that in high school. Played basketball. His senior year was a first time playing football, but never really put his hand in the dirt. So he's done well with that, but also the perimeter stuff, route running, and all the things we've asked him to do there, he's done really well.
What is his upside if and when he puts it all together?
I mean, he's got a lot of upside. I mean, he's got size. He's got good ball skills. He can run. He can run better than what you think he can. When he hits the gas, he can run. So he's got a lot of tools to work with. It's just understanding the everyday of how to come in the meeting room, how to practice. He's done a great job with that, and because of that, he's made good strides.
I believe Cam's played more games than anybody on the roster.
Yep.
So what has his experience done for some of those guys in the room?
His experience is really invaluable. Anytime you've been out in that arena that many times and seen that many different looks, different things that happen to you in a game, and then you're a guy that, like he is, that's willing to share that with the younger guys and help them grow. That's an invaluable role, and so you can only give them so many things in practice. They got to go get it in the game, and when they've got a guy in the room that has done it in a game, it's very, very helpful.
Justin and Wyatt are two guys who get a lot of work on special teams. So how do you go about managing, I guess, rep count and usage when knowing that they can help you in certain passes and all that?
That's a really good question. You got to be really careful with those guys because those are two guys that bring just a very, very high level of value in special teams, and JP counts on those guys a lot. So you have to manage that load, and then what you're asking them to do on the offensive side, not only in a game but in practice, just making sure because those guys have, the roles that they have on the special teams are, from a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint are really big. So definitely have to do a good job, of monitoring that. During games, I'll have a guy in the press box that'll be able to help me monitor rep count and make sure that those things aren't getting too high. And that, our guys in the room know that, so all the other guys know that, they're going to end up getting reps in some way. So it's really important to keep track of that.
Brian Courtney, converted quarterback, seems to have taken pretty naturally to, especially the receiving parts of it.
Yeah.
Where are you kind of challenging him, and how impressed have you been with him?
Really in every area, just because you just mentioned the route running, but even that's new to him. Catching the football is new, protecting the football, but then all the different techniques, blocking, whether it's in line or in the backfield, on the perimeter, he's having to absorb a lot of information and perfect a lot of different things. But he's a very high intelligence guy, very, very smart, and very, very motivated to learn all that stuff. So he's a really fun guy to coach in that way.
There's been a lot of talk the last week or two about how much more knowledge some of the older guys have of the offense and being able to adapt. And as a coach, how does that change how you guys feel like going into practice or games about how they're going to handle different situations?
Yeah, it's really the fun part. Like, it's the funnest part of, it's one thing the defense just presents a normal basic look, but when they start to do all the things that defenses do now with field and boundary pressures, with movements, with different things, with coverages and disguises, and you see them start to get it and see it like you see it, that's the fun part. And you got Cam, you got Wyatt, you got Preston, who have seen a lot of those looks, and then the guys like Jackson and Marquiston are starting to absorb those things, and the new guys are they're struggling learning all that stuff. But that's the fun part of coaching, when you can see a group that you've had and they start to put all that together. That's the best part.
I know he's not one of your tight ends, but what do you see from Johnny Wilson? High pulling the ball in there, and it's kind of blocking from the receiver position.
Yeah, he's a guy that really can dominate in both areas, as a blocker, and obviously most of the time he's on the perimeter, but we do tighten him down to the offensive line some, where he's close to that edge, and he can dominate in those situations. And you guys have seen him down in the red area. I mean, how he can dominate that part of the field, but he's also done great in the open field with just the adjustments and the things that we've asked him to get good at. It's really pretty remarkable for a guy who hasn't been in the system very long. He's done a great job picking it up. Speaks to his intelligence as well.
Do you think he's someone who could line up as like a second, third tight end?
Oh, definitely. He would not probably want to talk about that, but he's got a skill set that would translate to a lot of different things. We had him in a kind of a block destruction drill this morning, and we're joking with him about being a defensive end. I mean, you could see him doing a lot of different things, but I think he's pretty comfortable where he is, and we're excited about what he's doing.